live. If you guys are new here today, just want to let you know that every single Monday I go live at about 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I talk about midterm rentals most of the time, topics regarding midterm rentals, what's happening in the space. If you're new to midterm rentals or trying to understand them, I break down in detail how to actually find contracts, which a lot of people are looking to do, and how to do things a little bit different. Here on this channel, we talk more about actually building a business and not just being reliant on platforms. And today I'm going to be doing a deep dive with you guys on how to actually build a lead engine. If you guys are new to this channel or new to hanging out with me, my name is Jesse Vasquez. I own over 20 something properties in California and in Texas. And yeah, I've been in this space for about a decade, which is quite a bit of time before midterm rentals were even cool, which is pretty awesome for me, I suppose. But now I'm teaching you guys how to actually build a successful midterm rental business. So today I'm going to be going in detail how to actually build an engine. And what I mean by that is a lead engine that you can actually use to operate your midterm rentals. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you guys are listening or watching this right now in the chat box, please say hi. I would love to know where you're at. And if you have any questions, you can also ask questions if you please, as I'm continuing to move along through this. Today we'll probably be hanging out for about an hour or so. And I just want to make sure that we are live on all these channels, which if you guys can just put, hey, I can see you right now on YouTube. Something like that would be very, very helpful for me because Cam's here. What's up, Cam? Yeah, man. Cam, I'm gonna name drop you real quick, dude, because you're doing something super cool. Cam is actually a student of mine in our AirVenture Academy community, and he actually was able to land a contract or start building relationships through the city planning division. I think it's one of the kind of a really cool strategy that I'm actually going to start implementing myself, thanks to Cam. And the cool thing about midterm rentals, which I want to make sure that I lay out with you guys right now, is I still learn this stuff. I've been in this for a decade, but I'm still learning things like literally all the time, which is pretty cool. I think a lot of times people in this space think they know everything. They think they have it all down. They think they're like the gurus of all these things. I am absolutely not that. I am somebody that's learned a couple ways of doing things, and there's so many different ways to build a successful midterm rental business that I'm just kind of talking and teaching, kind of a wide variety of it. But there's so many different ways to do it. But Cam was able to connect with his local planning department, planning division. And just to give you guys context of this, the planning division of your city, they actually know what jobs are coming into the market. They know if there's going to be any new construction or any type of big, development of some sort where there's companies that are coming from other cities. And Cam was able to actually connect with the city development department, found out who was doing certain things in the city, found out about jobs that were coming through. And that's where you can start to find the companies that are actually doing the work, which they gave him the company's information. And then he just reached out and started to build his business that way, which I think is incredible. And again, it's something that I'm actually learning from. So I'm super excited for Cam that he was able to do something, found his own space and was creating his own way. And I'm learning from him now, which is pretty freaking awesome. So we got Christina here. We have Sean. What's up, Sean? I see you on YouTube. Oh, thanks, man. Here from Huntsville, Alabama. I almost invested in Huntsville, probably in like 2021 or 2022, before, like right when it was getting cool. I really wanted to buy there, and I didn't. And I missed it. There was a lot of opportunity in that market, and I didn't jump on it, but I think a lot of other people did, which is great. So, okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this today. And again, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat box. I will try my best to answer them as I go through this. I kind of have a curriculum today, so I'm going to try to stick to my curriculum as much as possible. And again, if you guys have any questions as I'm moving along through this, just feel free to put it in the chat box. I'm usually pretty good at paying attention to this stuff as it's moving along. So let me pull up my notes. All right, let's see. Okay, so lead engines, how real midterm rental operators get bookings without Airbnb. How many of you guys that are watching this right now are listed on Airbnb, and that's where you're getting the majority of your bookings? If you guys can write that in the chat box, just say me. I just want to kind of gauge where you guys are at. This call is going to be about 30 minutes long, and I'm going to talk about what a lead engine is, because that's exactly what we want to do, is we want to create an engine that actually starts to create opportunity for you. And we're going to dive into that a bit. I have 3 pillars of what I actually do to build a lead engine, which I'm going to share with you guys. And I'm also going to share a starter plan an actual challenge that you guys can do on your own after you get done watching this video. So I'm going to urge you to stay till the very end so that you can take advantage of these midterm rental tools, tips, tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. And at the very end, I'm going to lay out an actual plan that you guys can move forward through. So, okay, cool. So, all right, let's talk about some of the biggest mistakes that I'm seeing in the midterm rental space right now. Hosts that are actually good hosts, they're hoping the Airbnb brings them super high paying bookings. And yes, while that can happen, it does happen. It does happen often. In fact, I get those too. But what I see hosts doing is they're optimizing their listings, they're tweaking photos, they're stressing about SEO, and they don't realize that the biggest contracts, like the 5 to 15K contracts, those don't usually come through Airbnb. They can sometimes, but they usually don't. So we're going to talk about how to actually, find those people, build relationships through them, because the most successful people, they come through actual people in this space, through relationships that are built, and through systems that feed them consistently, which we're going to talk about today. That's what I actually call a lead engine. So today I'm actually going to show you guys how to actually start building one, even if you're starting from nothing. Okay, cool. Shannon, what's up? I see Shannon here. 10% OTAs, 90% organic. Damn, that's pretty good. Sean's got it going. Google Bus, page, referrals, etc. That's freaking awesome. I love that. That's amazing. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into this right now. This is my first section of this talk right here. I'm actually gonna be speaking on what actual a lead magnet, or not a lead magnet, but a lead engine actually is. I'm going to define that for you guys real quick. A lead engine, at least in the midterm rental world, is not ads. I think a lot of times people think ads when they hear about lead engines, because I usually will put together ads or something. That's how you guys catch me sometimes. But in the midterm rental space, we're actually not talking about that at all. We're talking about a system where other people actually bring leads to you. And that is consistently because trust is how you actually operate in the space. Trust is one of the most important pieces of the midterm rental space. And I'll give you guys an example. I actually had a travel nurse that booked with me, that ended up telling her recruiter about me. And I ended up getting the recruiter's information, talk to the recruiter, and that recruiter actually sends me nurses or clients that are coming back to my market. So again, it goes from the nurse, it goes to the recruiter, which I always ask. And then the recruiter is actually the one sending me other nurses and other clients that are actually coming to this market. Same thing with relocation specialists. For those of you guys that are going after travel, or excuse me, for those of you that are going after the insurance temporary housing spaces, relocation specialists, a lot of the times they're extremely busy. They will actually send clients to me, and I'll go out and try to find property for them. That's another example of what a lead engine is. They're actually thinking about me. And what I mean by that as well, and I want to go a little bit deeper on that, is when I talk to these relocation specialists, I actually ask them, I say, hey, I'm kind of bored today. Is there anything that's been sitting on your desk for the last couple months, or last month, or last 2 or 3 weeks that I can help you find housing? That is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle, you guys, because you are not providing a service it's not about getting your property booked. It's about actually providing a service. This is a service-based business. You need to be completely aware of that. And the second that you guys start to understand that you're in service to other people, which are the relocation specialists, temporary housing folks, the travel nurses, the recruiters, the business folks, then you'll start to understand this business at a deeper level. Because again, at the end of the day, you're providing a service for these folks. I think that's one of the biggest differences right here, is that a lot of people don't realize that. One of the other things that I do is actually refer. I will actually send, if this is important, I'll actually talk to realtors. And I've been saying that wrong for the longest time. People on the internet have been slamming me. It's not realtor. I guess it's realtor. I don't like the way that sounds. I don't know about you guys. Somebody in the comments tell me if that's a weird way of saying it, but I guess that's the way you say it. I've been saying realtor with an A for like the last 43 years of my life. And somebody just called me out on this. So I'm going to start saying realtor. It just sounds wrong. Does it sound wrong? I think it sounds wrong. It definitely does. Anyway, I will actually ask realtors that if they have any, anybody's looking for housing, say they're selling a property, and they need to have somebody that's going to live in a house temporarily. I'll tell realtors that I'll give them a $250 bonus. Realtors, dang it, I'm saying it again. I'm not going to stop saying it that way. I can't. It's just not going to work for me. I'll talk to them and I'll say, basically, if you have a client that needs temporary housing because they're moving, or they need to find somewhere to live, or they're looking for a property in a specific market for a duration of time, I'll ask, send me that referral, and I'll actually pay you $250 for every referral that you send to me. I would go down to, some of the brokerages that are in my market. And I'll actually talk to those folks that are in there. I don't want to say who they are again because I say it wrong, which you guys know what I'm talking about, the R word. And I'll just say, hey, during your guys' sales meetings, I would love to come in and talk about what I do, how I operate, and how I can actually be a benefit to the clients that you may have and or people that are buying property. And I'll bring that up. That's another way that I will start to work with people. HR, this is something I've talked to you guys about before. HRs in hospitals, that's how I got my foot in the door first. It was literally going into a hospital, walking in and talking to them in person. That's still by far one of the greatest strategies. It's a little bit old school, and I'm old school, so I actually like doing that. I think it's really important, and I feel that one-on-one connection with somebody in the HR department is actually very beneficial to you in the long run because you get to see them, you get to have a conversation with them, and you can exchange stories, you can give information, and you can feel what the other person has going through, if they're busy or if they're. I just feel like it's so much more personable to meet people in person. And that's marketing, right? That's exactly what marketing is. You're going after these folks, you're talking to them, you're hoping that they remember you, and that's exactly what you want to do. It's really awesome. And one of the cool things about this as well is that when you start having some of these folks start referring out for you, that's actually your network that's doing work for you. And I think a lot of times people don't realize that, whether it's the realtor, dang it, I don't like that, or the HR representative or the recruiter, they're actually doing work for you because they've trusted you. You've given them time. They're starting to actually send messages to other people about your particular property. And that's where the building that kind of Rolodex or people marketing for you comes from, which again is really important. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. The key difference between a host and a business owner is this: hosts typically hope Airbnb finds leads or they get bookings, and operators, which I'm talking to you today, if you're an Airbnb operator, operators build a machine that brings in clients without a platform, with or without a platform. And that's again what we want you guys to be thinking about is, obviously you're getting leads on these platforms, but you want to be able to eventually get off those platforms and or build your own engine that's doing these things for you, which is really, really important. So I'm going to break down the 2 or 3 pillars. I'm going to see if anybody has any questions here in the chat box. Tanisha, you guys are laughing at me because, what's up, Tanisha? I can't say realtor. I just don't like that. I don't like the way it sounds. It really bothers me. That and what's the other word that I don't like? I forget. It has something to do with Avatar. Worst word on the planet. I don't know who came up with that word. Okay, you guys, I'm going to break down these pillars for you guys now. So 3 pillars. This is what we're going to go through right now. So if you want to build an actual lead engine, you have to get away from being, behind your phone. You got to get out there in person. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I've literally walked in the hospitals and said, hey, I house traveling nurses and families like that are in transition. Who's the best person to talk to about housing needs? Literally, that's what I've done. And it's worked. And it's something that I feel very powerful about. And I'm going to be super real with you. It's kind of awkward at first. It feels uncomfortable, but I did it because I knew that the money wasn't just online. I realized that a lot of these folks that were actually sending these referrals, they were in rooms in different places where decisions are actually being made. And that was a powerful kind of understanding for me because that's how I started to build my actual business in 2015. If you guys have heard my story, I worked in a healthcare travel nurse. I met a travel nurse. She ended up telling me to go to the HR department. I walked down to the HR department, talked to a woman named Misty in the HR department, and she had told me that they were actually looking to work with an individual operator who has houses to house travel nurses, because a lot of the clinicians couldn't find anywhere to stay. They couldn't find anywhere that was actually comfortable, that was in a nearby area, and that had reputable people that were actually good at hosting, that actually cared about the clients that they had. In fact, I talked to a couple travel nurses that stayed in other properties and they wanted to leave because it was just run down. There was cockroaches. There's a lot of really bad operators, you guys. So again, you got to get out there and talk to them. For me, I went down and asked for who was actually handling the housing. I asked if there's any companies that they worked for directly. And the cool thing about when you do talk to these companies, they give you some names. Go find them on LinkedIn. Look up talent acquisition and type in whatever company they give you. If they say they're working with a recruiter at AMN Healthcare and it's Mike Douglas, type in Mike Douglas, AMN Healthcare on LinkedIn. Send a note to them. Say, hey, I just spoke to Misty over at Doctors Medical Center. She gave me your information. Let me know if you got a couple minutes to talk. Like that's the stuff that you need to make sure that you're doing. I think it's really important that you start to think about your business in that way. And again, this is not for everybody. I really want to make sure that I say this out loud now, because I think that a lot of people, um, that don't want to actually build a midterm rental business and they just want to be, play small, totally fine. Go do that. But if you want to build something that is maybe 6 or 7 figures where you're making a pretty decent cash flow, this is the way to be thinking. So I'm urging you guys, if you want to stay, um, if you want to stay in a position that is going to bring you a couple, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month, awesome. But if you want to grow an actual successful business that you could sell in the future, you have to be thinking, this way. You have to be thinking ahead. You have to be thinking with leverage, and you have to be able to put yourself in a position that's going to allow you to grow at scale. And you can't do that if you're thinking small. So again, if you guys business brain, and the cool thing about this is there's an easier barrier to entry here. Is that a lot of people that get into business haven't actually been in business before. That was my case where, I started on Airbnb. I met with somebody, the hospital, and it's almost like a gateway drug. And I'm not talking about like, pot or something. I'm talking about like, it's a gateway drug into getting into an actual business, because it's easy to get into. Airbnb is easy to get into. Creating your first midterm rental is easy to do. And you'll start to realize that over time, you actually enjoy it if that's the type of person you are and you want to scale and you want to get bigger. So it's a really great introduction to actually thinking about business if you've never even thought about it before, which is why I love it so much, because I watch so many people get into this. They're not really entrepreneurs. They're coming in just wanting to be a mom and pop operator. And before you know it, like Christine, some other people that I've been in my program, you start to see that they're building 6 and 7 figure careers, like literally in a year. And it's because they're hungry, they're motivated, they're building bigger than what they thought, and they're around people that are doing the same thing. So again, I want you guys to think big. Going back into my second pillar is talk track. This is the most important piece. A lot of people get really stuck on this. And it's a simple part. I think a lot of times people will miss this. Just because somebody doesn't book today doesn't mean they're not going to book again in the future. I started keeping a simple Google sheet. And this is what I'm going to encourage you guys all to do. Get a Google sheet with every person that you talk to. If it's an HR rep, if it's a relocation specialist, even if it's other hosts, you got to follow up with them. And that's what I would do every single month. I would literally send notes to say, hey, Jesse, checking in again. I was curious if you have any other temporary housing folks that are coming into this market, or better yet, start asking them if you could provide a service for them. If they're stuck, if they need help finding housing, even if it's not in your market, you want to think ahead like that. It's really, really incredibly important if you want to grow. So I would keep it simple, right, guys? Just a simple Google sheet with every single person that you talk to. Follow up every single month. I use the Google Sheet. I started off with a Google Sheet. You can also use things like Airtable, which is really easy to do. But all you need to do is have name, role, company, contact info, last contact, like when's the last time you actually contacted them, and notes, so that you know who you're actually following up with, why you're following up this, so you actually know what you're talking about from the week before or the week after. So that's marketing, right? Your sales, you got to continue to follow through. And basically, some of my notes say stuff simple. It's just like, hey, Misty, I'm just checking in. I've got a unit open August 10th. Let me know if anybody you know is in need. I'd love to help. Like, it doesn't need to be a crazy email. You're just staying on top of mind. The way that I like to think about this is out of sight, out of mind. If you're not in front of these people or having conversations, even if you're the one that is making the direct contact, they're not responding back to you, they're still seeing the email. So I'd encourage you guys to continue to stay that way. This is really important too, you guys. This isn't spam. I've heard people tell me this before, that, oh, you're just spamming people. You're just spamming. You're just spamming these, these folks. It's spamming if you're just trying to get your property booked. But this is about being top of mind. People that succeed in this business, they don't disappear after one message. And that's where a lot of you will send me notes after you send 1 or maybe 3 or 5 messages to 5 different companies. And you're like, hey, Jess, I've reached out to people. Nobody's getting back to me. Well, and I'll ask, how many companies did you reach out to? And they'll say 3. Dude, you know how many people I had to reach out to before I got like connections with one person? A lot. And it was like hundreds. So you guys, again, you got to think big on this. You got to think more than one, and volume is going to be so important. So that's why I say, like, create a Google sheet, start reaching out to people. Super, super important. You have to make sure that you do that. So you're not spamming, you're being top of mind. And again, people that are successful in this business, they don't disappear after one message. They keep showing up in a helpful way. That's going to be really one of the most important pieces of building this. So keep that in mind. I know I'm going to continue to say it because I really need you guys to absorb that. Okay, and my third pillar is going to be super, super important. This is the last one of this engine. And it's going to make it worth it for you guys. So you have to make sure that you send business. This is what I was talking about earlier. You have to ask people for that you'll actually pay them referral bonuses. I do not mind doing this. I pay $100, $200, $300 for referral bonuses to realtors, to other hosts. I said it right that time. Did you guys hear that? Actually, I don't think I did. Damn it. Realtors, I did right there. Other hosts, I will pay referral fees. I even pay referral fees to guests. So we'll actually keep a note of every single guest that has stayed with us, their email, their phone numbers, and we'll send notes. Hey, if you have anybody that's coming into this market again, you've stayed with us October 1st, 2024. We'll actually say things like, if you know anybody coming back to this market, we actually send referrals. So going back to the lead engine, you guys have to be thinking about this. You got to pay for those leads sometimes. And a lot of people don't want to do that. And I think that's a real way to stay small, because sometimes you do got to pay for help. You do got to pay for referrals. And at the end of the day, if you're getting a $4,000 or $5,000 booking, what is $250 out of that $4,000 or $5,000, right? I mean, if it makes sense for you. So be thoughtful on that end. I think it's incredibly important to pay attention to those things, especially past guests that you've had. I think so many people forget this and they don't do this on a regular basis. But again, if you're reaching out to somebody, let them know. If you know someone's staying at the place, send them my way. I'll hook you up. Like, that's literally what we say. We want to be talking about building repeat booking business. There's an incentive to that. They get priority access. They get discounts. They get gift cards. I've even seen people in the space do loyalty programs, loyalty placement partners. So they actually have like certain people that they connect with, and they'll actually send them referrals and they'll get paid for them. So again, you guys, I think it's really important if they end up booking, to do that. I had one nurse with me one time who stayed with me. I think I might have told you guys this before. She told her recruiter about me. That recruiter sent me 3 other clients, and that's what the lead engine actually is. I worked with the clinician. She talked to her recruiter. I ended up talking to the recruiter, and the recruiter is now sending me clients, 3 other clients. So again, you're not just hosting, you're creating a business that feeds itself. And that's where that servitude, kind of mindset that is really, really important as you continue to, build in the space. So it's really, really important to think like that again, because so many people do not. And I really think it's important as this market starts to become mature and there's more people that are getting into the space, that the second you start to carve out, the business brain, the business building portion of it, you're already leaving everybody else behind because they're still stuck in that, kind of one-off mentality of just listing on platforms, kind of waiting around to get bookings. In fact, I sent 100 messages on Furnish Finder over the last several weeks, and I can't tell you how many hosts that are on Furnish Finder do not respond to emails that are sent over. This is like me booking a property, looking to book a property. And I had so many hosts that didn't even respond timely, that didn't respond at all, that didn't respond within a day, that actually took several weeks to get to me. So like, you guys, again, if you're trying to build a business, you got to be thoughtful. You got to be quick. You got to think bigger. That's really, really important to make sure you guys are doing that. Let's see, where am I at on here? Section 3, I think I covered this. Okay, yeah, this is the important part here. I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys this here. Starter plan. So if you guys are new to doing any type of leads or creating anything at all, I'm going to go ahead and talk you guys through what you should be doing and how to start to think about this right now. So I think some of you might feel like this is advanced, but this is how you actually start small. This is the small game. Okay, guys. So this is going to be one of the most important things. Step 1, make your power list. And what do I actually mean by a power list? 5 hospitals in your market. This is your homework for the week, you guys. 5 hospitals are in your market. Make this list. Who are they? What companies are they? Go look at their websites. Find out how many beds they have. Go look up what level hospital they are. And what I mean by that is like level 1, level 2 hospitals are, trauma-based hospitals that typically have a lot of clinicians, especially traveling nurses. Level 3 and level 4 and level 5 hospitals are more of your rural hospitals. They typically have lower bed counts, not as many clinicians. But the level 3 hospital that I worked with was actually Doctors Medical Center in Modesto, and they were one of my best hospitals that I've ever worked with ever. Period. And it was not a level 1 or level 2, so it doesn't matter the level. So that would be your first thing. Pick 5 local hospitals, find out who they are, start to build that power list. Number 2 is relocation companies. Find 3 relocation companies, like actually 3 relocation companies, whether that's AMN Healthcare, CRS, THD Housing, whatever it is. Go find those, go to their websites, start putting your properties in their database, which I think is important to do that because you are available and you could be found if you are listing on there. And my number part of the same thing. My number 3, Facebook groups with nurses or professionals. I think a lot of times people forget this too. Go find 3 platforms in your market. So if I'm in the Bay Area, I'm going to type in Bay Area travel nursing and see who's actually looking for housing in my market. Again, this is homework. 5 local hospitals, 3 relocation companies. Find 3 Facebook groups that are travel nurses or professionals. And then this is the other thing that I need you guys to do. Okay, this is part of your power list. Find 3 hosts in your own market, wherever you guys are. Hopefully you can find them here. Maybe write a note on the bottom of this. Or go into my free Facebook group and just say, hey, I'm looking for 3 hosts. Go have coffee, go connect, jump on a phone call, get to know and get to trust other hosts in this market. The reason being is because if you're starting to get referrals, you're starting to get the potential to grow, you're going to want to have somebody to piggyback off of, especially if you only have 1 or 2 properties. Like, this is the ideal way to grow. So get around people that actually have 1 or 2 properties, build a relationship with them, and start to have conversations so that you can refer referrals to each other to talk about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Step 2 in this is start 1 conversation this week, just 1. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go back. Number 1 is get that power list, right? We want to make sure we get the power list of all the hospitals, relocation companies, Facebook group, 3 hosts you trust. Step 2, start 1 conversation this week. And all you got to do is say something super simple. This is my script for the week. Hey, we're going to say Tanisha. Hey, Tanisha, I run fully furnished midterm rental homes in Modesto, California, perfect for travel professionals or displaced families. If anybody ever needs housing, I'd love to help. Like, you don't got to get crazy. All you got to do is start a conversation, something just as simple as that. So that's your step 2, okay, you guys? So we got this really simple. Step 1, step 2. And step 3, this is the most important piece of the puzzle. Create a Google Sheet, something super simple. You're just going to have multiple different tabs that say this: name, role in the company, who the company actually is, contact info, last time contacted, and notes. That's literally it. You just have to have, what is that, 5 tabs? All you need to do is have 5 tabs. And if you talk to somebody, just say write in the notes, has 6 travel nurses to place per month, blah, 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 blah. Well, we talked about this, but start to actually build a list, a Rolodex of people that you're actually talking to. That's the homework for the week, you guys. It's starting to get yourself with momentum. And that's something that I've noticed in the midterm rental space as people are continuing to grow their businesses. Once you get that momentum going, you start to kind of get used to what these calls feel like, even if it's super simple things like we're sharing today. That's where that energy starts to flow. You start to get around the right people. You might connect with that one that's going to be able to help you move the needle. And that's typically how it works. And again, this is why I want you guys to think small right now, but you're just doing little simple things that are eventually going to add up to a big picture, which is the thinking big. And that's you building a business with a Rolodex of people that you can connect to. And again, that's what you want to do, especially as you continue to grow in this space right now. It's going to be extremely, extremely important. James just said on here, one of our travel RNs recently had to leave early, so we let her go. In return, she posted our flyers on her hospital, and we offered her a referral fee. Dude, James, that's freaking awesome. In fact, we're going to have James on Midterm Monday, probably next week. James, I don't know when you're going to do that. I would love to have you on, man. But that's the smart way to do it. A lot of times travel nurses, their assignments get canceled and you have to, offer things for them. Sounds like James did that. We made sure to laminate them and make several copies, drop them off at her door. I have a Google sheet of 10 RN travel housing companies and Facebook groups. Happy to share with anybody that wants. I love that. Tanisha says midterm rental term for other investors is the game. Otherwise, monthly furnished housing or rentals. Yes, that is true. Jesse, I had lunch with Christine yesterday in Vegas. Community is so important. Yes, I totally. Did I say totally? Did you guys hear that? I totally agree to you, Tanisha. I 100% agree. I think community is so powerful. You guys, I can't speak today. I don't know what is going on. I have no clue, but I want to be able to speak because this is what I'm doing with you guys right now. So yeah, super simple stuff, you guys. Actionable stuff that you guys can do today. It's not too big. It's things that you can actually start to put together. It's things that you can actually start to do. Go back, listen to this again. If it's something that you are wanting to build, I think it's important. But again, this is the truth, you guys. Platforms will change. Algorithms are going to continue to change. They're going to shift. And we know that's happening right now with Airbnb. But Airbnbs are going to sit empty. Sometimes I see this happening all the time. But if you got people in your network and you know who to actually connect with and people that trust you and people that want to actually work with you, don't wait for that. Like, don't wait for those, for you to not get these bookings. Like, start building it today. I think it's really important to think about these things, especially as they're starting to happen. And when you're already a month behind on Airbnb, you're struggling to get back to it. And I watch so many people, it's like they're underwater. They're trying to make their way back up to the surface. They'll start to lower their prices. And that's absolutely what you don't want to do, especially if you're playing that game about, sitting and waiting for bookings. So a couple things before I leave you guys for today. I'm actually hosting a awesome event in Las Vegas with about 20 people. We have about 10 already, so there's only 10 spots left. This is going to be October 3rd and October 4th of this year in Vegas. And that's actually the weekend of Bigger Pockets BPCon, which I will be speaking at as well. I'm very excited to actually going to be on a panel there. So I don't know if that's considered speaking, but it's something, right? So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, send me a note. I'm going to pin it to this conversation. And if you guys haven't joined my free Facebook group yet, please go do so. It's under Facebook, Midterm Rentals with Jesse Vasquez. There's about 12,000 people in that place that you can connect with, that you can build a community with, that you can go have coffee with, all the things that we talked about today. And as of now, I don't see any other messages in my chat box. Actually, Keith says, I just discovered Midterm Rentals through watching videos last year, turned my STRs into hybrids, and it's been a game changer. This community is the best. Love it, dude. Keith, that's super awesome, man. I love it so much. But yeah, I'm super pumped. Cam, I'm going to be seeing you in Vegas in the next couple months, which is freaking wild. We're already like halfway through the year, more than halfway through the year. So yeah, if you guys are excited or ready to build your midterm rental business and you want to connect with me, potentially Tanisha and a lot of people that have been able to build awesome communities, we're going to be at a very small event in Las Vegas, October 3rd and 4th. Send me a note. I'm going to pin the information here in the chat box. But I'm going to head out, guys. It's been hopefully this is something that gives you guys some context, some actionable steps that you could do. I do believe that everybody could build a successful midterm rental business if you decide that's what you want to do, especially if you're looking to leave your W-2 job or you want to create some substantial cash flow. Because the cool thing about midterm rentals is there's different pillars that add different revenue, which a lot of other real estate investments don't actually do. And it's pretty cool to, once you get in the space, they start to grow. So again, think big. There's a lot of potential. And I think right now thinking big is important because as more people start to get into this, as it becomes more saturated, which it is, it allows us to think ahead. And not only that, but also be able to beat everybody else that's coming in. But most importantly, actually, work together with other operators that are operating at this level. And I think that's what's really cool about the midterm rental space is that we do have that ability to connect one another, which is just powerful when you're starting to build one of these businesses. So appreciate you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some value from it. Let me know if you have any thoughts about this or if you're building your business now in the comments down below. And we will see you guys next week on Midterm Monday. Stay safe, everybody, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.